Welcome, war heroes. And today I welcome you all back to the fields of war. But this time we are going to do something a little bit different. So, the Greeks have taken over Troy. They have completely sacked Troy, and they have forced the Trojans to retreat and to pretty much leave their city and be forced to survive on their own. Any Trojans who were left behind were going to get raped, robbed, tortured, and killed by the Greeks. The Greeks celebrated in victory in their victorious, in their victorious siege against the Trojans, and the Trojans ran away. So the Greeks, after they sacked Troy, they decided to occupy it, and it looks like that's exactly what they have done. But because they thought that the Trojans would no longer be a threat, they decided to send a majority of their army back to Greece. And except for a few units that decided to stay behind. What they did not know is that while they were celebrating with their family and their brothers and sisters in arms and their friends and their wives or their flings or whatever, Paris was secretly fulfilling a wish that his father had made him promise to do, and that is to one day re-siege the city of Troy back. And he wants to see it back into Trojan hands, whether it be in his lifetime or in the future near after his death. So for the past 20 years, Paris has been sort of regrouping his forces, training sort of the children to become warriors, and he has returned. This time though, Paris has help. Paris actually has some help from the Dardenian's king, or let's just say Anatolian, from the Anatolian king, who has promised to help Paris, but in return he wants a share of the treasure of Troy, and of course his share of Greek blood, because he despises the Greeks just as much as Paris does. Now, another one of Paris' allies is actually Hector's son, whom he trained to be just like his father, and to no one's surprise, he grew up to be just like his father, a very strong and capable leader, ready to lead his troops into battle, similar to what Paris and the Anatolian king are doing. So that is pretty much the lead up to the war. We have the Trojans stationed outside, getting ready to attack on, it looks like, 5 fronts, and the Greeks inside here are getting ready to defend. Now, while the Greeks were celebrating, they were definitely not anticipating a counterattack from the Trojans, because they thought they killed enough of them to the point where they would never try something like this again. But unfortunately, they were mistaken. The Greeks had no choice but to rally as many troops as they possibly can and sail and make that long journey to Troy once again in order to participate in the fight. Unfortunately, not all men who fought in the original Trojan War wanted to fight in the Second Trojan War, simply because some of the reasons include they're too old, so they decided to retire from fighting. Some decided to stay at home with their wives and children, understandably so. But a lot of the younger men, especially those from 20 years ago who heard the stories of the original Trojan War from their fathers and their grandfathers, wanted to see the city for themselves and wanted to relive the glory. So a lot of the young men in Troy fighting for the Greeks were actually very inspired by the story of the original Trojan War. So they decided to come back and sort of live up to the legacy that their ancestors, or not really ancestors, it's only been 20 years, but that their fathers and uncles and grandfathers and the like sort of did 20 years ago in the original Trojan War. In this version of the Second Trojan War, all the heroes from the 3 cities are still alive. So Agamemnon, Menelaus, and Achilles are going to be the leaders for the Greece, whereas the leaders for the Trojans will be Paris, Hector's son, and the king of Anatolia. There's a 4th unit in the Greek side, and that's my unit. Unfortunately, I have to be present in the fight, but that doesn't mean I need to be fighting, so I will not be participating. It's pretty much whoever wins the game, or whoever wins the battle wins this war, pretty much. So this is going to be a series of battles. It's not just going to be one and done. So I will be creating a story based on the battles here that I sort of make up. If you guys want to help out with, writing some of the story parts, definitely, hit me up on Discord or leave a comment here if you guys are interested in helping out. That'd be pretty great. Right now, it's just going to be an AI versus AI battle just because, it's too lazy to go find people to play with me. Plus, I just want to watch, to be honest. I don't feel like fighting. I feel like narrating and watching the fight go down. Obviously, since it's AI versus AI, don't expect a lot of tactical moves to happen. Instead, we're just going to go ahead and enjoy the fight. So, based on that story, actually, I did say the Anatolians have the strongest units, but some of the remnants of Troy, there were some Trojan guards who actually did survive and have trained up 20 years later to once again fight for the Trojans, this time to reclaim the city that they lost. So we have champions of Troy, guards of Troy, Trojan princes, renowned archers. They're mixed in, a lot of mixes between the Trojans and the Anatolians. So again, like I said, there's no formation. Here we got some Trojan Warriors, so it's kind of a mixture of high-level troops and low-level troops, Trojan Warriors. But like I said, in the 20 years where the Greeks were celebrating, the Trojans were actually preparing for war. So they spent their time training each other, teaching each other how to fight, and they also got some training from, again, a very advanced army in the Anatolians. Light skirmishers, again, more renowned archers, so between level 1 and level 2 units. Trojan nobles, and more guards of Troy. So again, like I said, some of the city guard did survive the original Trojan War, and they are back for some more bloodshed. So that's pretty much it for the Trojan army. The Anatolian army, however, is something else. They have heavy Anatolian swords that can switch between bow and sword, which is pretty strong. We got some Dardenian defenders. We got some Dardenian chargers, good shock charge units. Over here on the Anatolian side, we got some more renowned Dardenian sword. So they're called the Dardenians, but I'm gonna call them Anatolians for the sake of story, okay? Dardenian sword fighters. Dardenian sword archers, it looks like. Is that what it says? Whatever. Leave it. But you guys get what I'm saying. They're very strong, very powerful. They're, in fact, the most powerful. They have the most powerful army going into this fight, Dardenian defenders. But along the way, actually, they were able to recruit a Minotaur. So a Minotaur has actually joined the ranks of the Trojans and the Anatolians to help them claim the city of Troy back from the Mycenaeans. Over here, again on the Anatolian side, we have some Anatolian slingers. So obviously they're not that powerful. But that's pales in comparison to sort of the rest of the army. And if you look at sort of the completion of the army compilation on this side, we have some fearless swordsmen. They're ready to go to war and fight for their king and for their allies. And they have some heavy Anatolian swords here. So they have a lot of heavily armored units, which could cause the Greeks some trouble. And they got some battering rams and siege towers ready as well. So that's gonna be on the side of the enemy. Now the Greek side, it's very simple. Like you can tell, a lot of their units are very weak. Like look at them. Shielded spearmen, spear runners, young spears. Like I said, these are young men they're pretty much here inspired by the stories of their uncles and fathers and brothers and all that to fight and to live up to the legacy. And we got some light swordsmen. So the quality of the troops for the Greeks is not as good as the ones for the Trojans, but the reason why they are leveled up is because they are trained by veteran victors. So they are trained in the art of war by again their kin that have actually fought and survived and won the Battle of Troy, because sieging a city as big as this obviously it's not a walk in the park. It's pretty hard. So it takes some really powerful warriors to survive that kind of war. So they were able to teach their students and their family members exactly how to fight and survive the Trojan War. So here we are in the Second Trojan War, and we got some Laconian axemen. Like I said, these are just level 1, level 2 units. There is Menelaus, the king of Sparta, and on the Greek side, they also have a mythical creature, which is a Cyclops. So they have a Cyclops fighting for them, whereas the Trojans have a Minotaur fighting for them. We got Agamemnon, the king of Mycenae, here getting ready to fight. It's a second Cyclops unit. Odysseus, the king of Ithaca. I know that Odysseus dies shortly after the Trojan War, but in this version, he survives, okay? So live with it. More militiamen. They got some archers on top of the walls, skirmishers, light bowmen, but like I said, the quality is just not, it just pales in comparison to the Trojan army. So let's actually go ahead and start this battle, and let's see who comes up as the winner. So without further ado, let us begin. So like I said, pretty much the story will fold out depending on who wins. I'll try and see if I can do this in like 5 episodes or 10, and it's just whoever wins. It's just gonna determine sort of the conclusion of the story and just see how the story turns out. So it's gonna be impromptu. I don't actually know who's gonna win this fight, but as you can tell right now that the balance of power is on the side of the attackers, just because again their quality in units is just a lot stronger than that of the Greeks. So that's what they have going for them, while the Greeks have the walls and they have experience. So we'll see who wins. It's literally quality versus experience. Whoever wins this fight will determine the answer to that question. So since I'm not fighting, we're just gonna be watching the fun as it goes. So the Greeks do have some spear and shield infantry here on the walls, getting ready to embrace the enemy when they come in with their siege towers. So we'll see how it goes. It looks like we already have some archer fire going into Agamemnon's companions. That is not a unit that the Greeks want to lose. They are actually one of the best units that the Greeks have in this battle. If they lose to Agamemnon's companions, then that's a big blow. So it looks like they are deciding to retreat the Agamemnon's companions because they are taking so much fire from those archers, and that's a very smart idea. Alright, so here comes the siege towers, and it looks like the spears are relocating in a sense. I think they're trying to take the hit from the 4 or 5 towers that are coming from the right side from the Greeks' point of view. This side, it looks like the towers are just about to reach the walls, and they have. Here we go. The battle is finally going to begin. Sorry, let's just ignore that for a second. So here we go. The Trojans have finally landed. They are now back on the walls of the city they once called home, that now belongs to the Greeks. But the Trojans are fighting, of course, hoping to reclaim the city that they once lost. So here we go. So again, we got more archer fire. The Minotaur is standing there, bracing, waiting. I guess he's waiting for the gates to be broken, and once he does, the Minotaur will be ready to charge. Let's take a look at what's happening on the side of Odysseus here. It looks like they're purely trying to get through the gate. It looks like there's no siege weapons, or sorry, there's no wall scaling weapons on this side of Troy. A lot of their good units are taking hits, but again, drawing fire from the archers, I guess, is good. It can cause them to run out of ammo faster. But again, that's a good unit. But I mean, hey, I'm not controlling this game, so whatever happens, happens, right? I'm not the one that decides the fate.
The city gates have been destroyed.
Alright, so looking at the numbers, it looks like the Greeks are definitely taking numbers out from the Trojans because they had to spend some time getting up onto the walls before the battle even started. It looks like here that Paris is doing very well, or the Trojan Alliance. I guess let's just call them the Trojan Alliance. The Trojan Alliance is actually doing very well, and it looks like they have actually captured this front. So that's going to be a big opening. The Greeks have no choice but to send in reinforcements to sort of back up their already retreating brothers. But it looks like they might just be retreating themselves. So if you look at this side, it looks like the Trojans have broken in, and they are now fighting with the skirmishers from the Greeks, as well as the fearless swordsmen from Anatolia that are also coming in to help to fight against the Greeks. So it looks like this side is doing very well for the Trojan Alliance. The Greeks do have some allies. Here comes a backup unit, some Laconian axemen getting ready to fight. So here we go. Looks like we finally have a good encounter right here. Again, sorry for the choppiness. There's a lot of units fighting, so I mean, bear with me here, bear with me. This is a pretty insane fight if you ask me. Like, take a look at this. There's just so much going on. Let's go in slow motion for a little bit here. Let's just enjoy this for a little bit. Look at this. Oh, he fell. It's like, oh, I die for my brothers. I die for Greece today. And I die for the legacy of my blood. On this side, it looks like the Greeks are heavily outnumbered. Oh, this is not good for the Greeks. These light swordsmen are getting surrounded and they are not going to survive this fight for much longer. The Trojans have now taken parts of the walls. Looks like the Greeks are bringing in a Spearmint unit. Again, while very experienced, they're not that good in quality, obviously, compared to the warriors on the Trojan side. I don't know why they do this. I don't know why AI makes them flee right after charging in. I don't know why that's a thing. Oh, it looks like the Cyclops has actually... The Cyclops is now in this fight, doing his best to hold back the Trojans at bay. And he's doing a very good job, especially seeing that he has some support. And it looks like Agamemnon is on the castle gates, holding back this... Looks like he's fighting against... He's fighting against Hector's son. Uh-oh, this might be... We might see an early general death, seeing as how it close. But the thing is, Hector's son is on a chariot, which means he's free to just run around and just trample over some Greek units that he sees fit. And that looks like it's exactly what he's doing. He might try to go after that Cyclops unit, which actually is kind of close to falling. So here we go. There you go. Hector is just having his way, running through units. Where's that Minotaur? I'm trying to find the Minotaur. Where'd the Minotaur go? Did he even enter the fight? I'm trying to look for it. Where's the Minotaur? Oh, there. The Minotaur has yet to enter. Okay, so the Minotaur's here. He is hiding with the Anatolian king. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. It looks like, let's see, the Trojans are still winning. They outnumber the Greeks by a lot, so this could be a victory for the Trojans. It looks like we may see the Trojans reclaim the city that they once lost. Here comes a set of Trojan units going after the spear runners, and it looks like they caught them. This isn't looking good for the Greeks, I'm not gonna lie. It's not looking good for the Greeks. Here is Menelaus taking on a Trojan warrior unit by himself, and he's doing a very good job. There are some Trojan princes right there. I don't think they're going to try and fire on Menelaus just because I think friendly fire is a thing. Oh, nope, I take that back. Wait, are those Greek warriors? Or Greek archers? I think they are. And it looks like his brother Agamemnon is here and he's charging in at the Trojan princess. Oh my goodness. Agamemnon is trying to help his brother out. It's literally two Greek warriors, two Greek legends right here going against an entire army of an entire unit of Trojans. Man, it's like they don't need any help from any of their units. They're good fighting on their own here. But it looks like, yeah. This is great. Brother and brother fighting side by side, just the two of them. Now, that's literally something that you'll only see in a movie. I'm not gonna lie. You'd only ever see that in a movie. We do see some Trojan units retreating, but the Minotaur has actually entered the battle. Here we go. Where's the Minotaur going now? Oh wait, never mind. He's not entering battle. Oh, now nope, never mind. They're all allies.
The enemy have captured the gate.
Wow, so the Minotaur's already entered when all the allies... Oh, is he going after the Cyclops? It seems that Hector is going after the Cyclops, and the Cyclops is dead. That's a big blow for the Greeks, because that's their 1 out of 2 Cyclops. Here's another charge here. Nope, never mind, that's not a charge. They're just running past each other. They're like, oh, hey, what's up, guys? No, don't mind just talking with me here. Oh yeah, the Trojans have a giant bowman, but it looks like they've actually retreated. That's kind of unfortunate. They took a lot of hits, it looks like. So again, this fight is still pretty close considering it is an AI fight, but by the looks of it, the Greeks have some of their units sort of retreating up here. My guy can't fight. He's literally not allowed to participate in this fight, so he actually needs to fall back here. I actually need him to run just because I don't need him fighting, or he's not allowed to fight. Here is Hector's son. Hector's son is still doing his thing, just running around looking for his next batch of soldiers to eliminate. And we've got some more Trojan warriors coming up the line here. Looks like the Greeks have been routed from this wall. This wall has completely belonged to the Trojans. And the Trojans are now making their advance towards the center of the city. We got more Trojans on this side of the wall. They are struggling a little bit here on the front line just because they have a lot of units on top here, on the top of the wall, still spraying down on the enemy Trojan units. I think this is one of the last biggest encounters that's happening right now, before maybe the next set comes in. But here's the Anatolian king finally entering the battle fray. And he is just taking out some Greek warriors, some Ithacan sword skirmishers. And he's doing a good job of it too. Look at that. He's wiping out 2-3 units, or 2-3 Yeah, units at a time. And we got some Spartoi. It's a weird name, by the way, but they're also very advanced spearmen. So this isn't looking good for the Greeks. And here comes the Anatolians. Yup, the Anatolians are going to give the Spartoi some trouble. This is a pretty intense fight if you ask me. Oh my goodness, and the Spartan spearmen are actually running low because they're surrounded. The fact that they are surrounded by some very advanced Trojan units is pretty much gonna spell it's pretty much gonna spell the doom for the Trojan unit here. Yeah, these spears are dead. There was nothing they could do. And yeah, so let's take a look here. It looks like Menelaus is on the retreat. Looks like maybe fighting on his own wasn't the greatest idea, and same with Agamemnon. This is the tragic tale where the brothers are forced to run away from the fight. And if they die, then they're dead. You're not going to see them in the next fight. So, you know, the deaths of the heroes here do matter. They matter quite a lot, actually. So if one of them dies, I will know about it. And it looks like this might spell the end of Agamemnon here. Unless he just runs through them. Yeah, never mind. He just runs through them. Here is the Anatolian king. Is he trying to find Agamemnon? No, he is not. Okay, so it looks like the Trojans may have this fight. The Greeks do have a bit of a stand right here, where some Trojans are being forced to be routed. So the Greeks are having some success by retreating their units back and sort of gathering their troops all together. So let's actually fast forward here. I'm trying to keep an eye on the heroes. Definitely since Paris, as you can see, Paris is a skirmishing hero. He's not a melee hero. He's not exactly in the front lines. Plus, it's Paris. He's not the bravest warrior. He's always hiding behind his units. So what do you expect, right? It looks like we have Agamemnon. He's still running, but he's running into the Trojan line. So I don't know what's going to happen here once he's rallied up. Some of his units that are retreating are actually retreating outside of Troy, but who knows? They might rally and come together. The Minotaur is still doing his thing. The Minotaur is still charging in. Unfortunately, I missed the fight for the Minotaur. I would have loved to see the Minotaur in action. We did see some of the Cyclops in action, but they did die. Odysseus is here. He is by himself. What is he doing? He is just firing some shots and retreating. He has no backup, so he definitely does need to retreat to the inner circle of Troy. It's not looking good for the Greeks, based on what I'm looking at here, but we'll see what happens. The battle is not over yet. So there, it looks like we have some Achaean slingers going against those shielded spear warriors who are actually retreating. And here is actually what I'm wanting to see. I want to see if they're going to charge into these shielded spearmen or hold their ground. It looks like they're just going to stay back. I don't know what they're doing. But if we're looking at army count, the Greeks don't have a lot of units left. And here we go. We finally have a charge. We have 2 spear units from Troy versus 1 spear unit from the Greeks. And the Greeks units are just shielded spearmen, while I think these ones are swordsmen and shielded spear warriors. So the Trojans should win this one if the Greeks don't get any support, and it doesn't look like they're going to get any support. Well, they are, but like they're so far away that it'll be too late. But it's definitely not looking good here for the Greeks at any capacity. Oh, and the Anatolians, looks like that final charge actually got the shielded spearmen to retreat. So that battle was over relatively quick. Here comes a bunch of young spears and young men getting ready to defend their brothers. But what can they do? There's only 1 young spear unit and they're taking on very powerful shielded spear warriors. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they're also retreating. It's almost like they're covering, almost like they're escorting their mates out of there. So let's fast forward a little bit more. Oh wait, we do have a fight here in the center. Let's take a look at this one. We've got guards of Troy versus shielded spearmen. I think the guards of Troy are stronger, so the guards of Troy should be able to win this one. Yeah, so looks like they are winning this one. Yeah, the shielded spearmen are very tired and damage sustained, whilst the guards of Troy are confident. Well, they're both confident, but they're also both exhausted. But by the looks of it, it looks like the guards of Troy have more of an advantage, because it looks like they're actually surrounding the shielded spearmen. Imagine 1 unit surrounding another unit on a 1-to-1 ratio. That's insane. Over here, it looks like we have... Is this Menelaus? Is this Menelaus fighting? This is Menelaus fighting. Is this Menelaus' last stand? No, it's not. It looks like the swordsmen are just ignoring the Spartan hero And the Spartan hero might be going up against the archers. Oh my goodness, I like that spear. That spear attack was great. He took out 3 Trojan princes right there. Oh, Menelaus is looking kind of weak though. He is actually kind of low in health. But is he going to take out all the Trojan nobles or Trojan princes before he dies? Is he going to at least do that? Because Trojan princes are actually very powerful archer units, so you can't underestimate these guys. You gotta keep them stuck in melee. Oh, and Menelaus falls. Unfortunately, this is the end for Menelaus of Sparta. It is unfortunate that he has fallen. Where's King Agamemnon? Is Agamemnon dead too? Wait, Agamemnon might also be dead and I missed it. Oh my gosh, did I actually miss Agamemnon's death as well? Because I can't see him. Or did he just straight up retreat? No, he might have came back and he might have actually died. So yeah, this is definitely look like it's going to be a loss for the Greeks for sure. It looks like the Trojans will reclaim the city that they once lost. Here we go. Yeah, it looks like the Greeks are just trying to take out what's left of these Trojan swordsmen. But it looks like they have a much bigger threat coming in the Trojan princes. Nope, not the princess. Sorry, the shielded spear warriors. And it looks like the light javelin men are in retreat because again, they are archer units, so... But yeah, by the looks of this... Oh, it looks like we got some Greek skirmishers stuck in melee and they are forced to retreat. They have no chance against the renowned Dardenian swordsmen. So are they going to charge back or are they going to stay on the retreat? What's going to happen here? We do have some archers providing some covering fire for them, so they are taking out some of the renowned sword fighters. Unfortunately, they're about to get flanked by the guards of Troy, so that was almost like a distraction. And the light bowmen look like that. It looks like that's gonna be the end of the light bowmen right there. I gotta shoot my hero some more. Again, he's not supposed to be in the fight, so I'll put you back here actually. It looks like Hector's son is coming up on the eastern flank of the city, and he's coming in with a unit of Anatolian slingers, getting ready to sort of march into the Greeks. Looks like last line of defense. It looks like we have some Trojan Warriors coming up here. Yeah, this looks like it's gonna be a wrap. Looks like it is going to be a victory for the Trojans. Like I said, the quality of the Trojan units were just too great for the Greeks to just withstand, because like I said, the Trojans spent 20 years preparing for the siege while the Greeks spent the next 20 years sort of again with the young men wanting to what do you call it, experience what it's like being a soldier. So it's like, you know, they weren't as battle hardened and as battle ready as the Trojans, because like I said, the Trojans spent 20 years preparing exactly for this fight, while the Greeks were just kind of like, you want to be a warrior, then you can be a warrior, go right ahead. Is he going after my hero? I mean, I'm not technically in the fight, but I mean, if he dies, I'm not gonna count it as a death. But yeah, he is forcing the units to retreat here. There's only 43 allied units left, so it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Achilles is still alive, but who knows for how long. Is he just going to fight there? Oh no, this looks like it's going to be the death of Achilles. Oh my goodness, this actually isn't looking good for the Greeks. This actually might be the end for Odysseus. Sorry, not Achilles. Odysseus. Achilles actually wasn't in this fight. It was only Menelaus, Agamemnon, and Odysseus. So, and this looks like it is going to be the death of Odysseus. And I believe with the death of Odysseus stands the last hope for the Greeks, and it looks like this will be a victory for the Trojans. We got a good charge here. It looks like the Agamemnon's companions survived, even though they were getting hit early on, and it looks like they didn't lose any health actually ever since that archer fire. So, and they're doing very well against these Trojan warriors. But then again, they're only Trojan warriors. And there is Hector's son to just drive them off and just absolutely break the ranks of Agamemnon's companions, and that looks like it's the end of the Greeks. I think their last hope of defense actually lies with these Agamemnon's companions, but look at Hector's son, just like he's so mad that his father died to the hands of the Greeks that it's like he just has to have his revenge on the Greeks right here. So Agamemnon's companions are still going after the Achaean slingers, or not Achaean slingers, the slingers of Troy, which he did. But again, more and more hordes of Trojans are just coming in. There's more of them right there. It looks like the Agamemnon's companions are going to have one last charge out at the Trojans. And I think once that is done, then the battle will be over. Here we look at that charge. That is a beautiful charge by both sides. But again, Hector's son is just so mad. And yeah, look at that. He's just running through all of the all of the companions right there. Oh man, look at him just trampling over these. Like, let them fight, man. Let them fight. You know? Here comes more Trojan princes to help fight on melee. And it looks like they are about to be surrounded. And it looks like that is the end of the battle, I think. I've said that like 4 times now, but it actually hasn't been the end yet. But this is the last. There it is. That's the last set of resistance right there. My hero's still alive, but again, he's not really part of the fight, so... And it looks like that's going to actually be the end of the fight. I'm just going to claim this to be a Trojan victory because, like I said, I don't want to put my hero in the fight. So, yeah, that pretty much doesn't matter. We are going to concede defeat. And that's going to be the win for the Trojans. So, that's going to be episode 1, and it looks like the Trojans have reclaimed their city back. All the heroes of Troy survived while all the heroes of Greece died because all the Greek heroes were getting into their old age. So that is pretty unfortunate that is where Menelaus, Agamemnon, and Odysseus all meet their demise. So that's going to be episode 1 of the Custom Trojan War part 1, or the first episode of the Custom Trojan War, Second Trojan War, let's say. Let me know what you guys think about this series. If you enjoyed watching this battle, please be sure to leave it a like. Comment on any changes you guys think I could do to make these sort of episodes better. If you guys want to help out with some of the scripting, that'd be pretty cool. Definitely hit me up. And of course, subscribe if you guys want to check out some more Total War content. And other than that, this is Enzo signing out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.